There was a time I was so down and didn't believe in myself. And then I had this revelation. You know what? I don't have to believe in myself. I've set a goal and I just have to commit and do the steps I said I would to get me through the valley of the shadow of death. And that worked for me. My husband texted me that at 2 a.m. last night. I'm not really sure where it's from, but it definitely struck a chord with me. Oh yes, and if you're new here, hi there, I'm INGRA. I'm a 27-year-old currently traveling the world, passionate about self-development and spirituality, and I want to grow along with you. This channel is about real growth, not perfection. We're really just humans trying to be better humans one day at a time. So shall we? Have you ever felt stagnant, like you're constantly sabotaging your own dreams and doubting your capacity of achieving them? And planning and writing might not even be the problem itself. Things get hairy when it's time to get down to action. You just freeze. We ask ourselves way too many questions and we think too far ahead. Do you do that a lot? Like rationalize things to the point where it just freezes you in place. And the biggest question that keeps pounding in our heads, can I really do it? Do I believe in myself enough to be the kind of person that accomplishes whatever they said they would? That's why that sentence from the beginning resonated so much with me. It's about not spotlighting doubts, insecurities, and disbelief, but rather to just focus on small, actionable steps and commitment to yourself and your goals. Commitment here being the key word. So I think a way more productive question that we should be asking ourselves is, if I don't believe in myself yet, can I still find it within me, the energy to take the necessary steps towards what I want? I think that's very doable, and I think it's a way less intimidating question than, do I believe in myself? The thing with focusing and collecting small wins through actionable steps is that once you do that for a while, you start seeing results. And the more results you get, the more you start believing in yourself and in your own capacity. So the point with this whole video is, you do not need to necessarily believe in yourself in order to just start and get things done. But the more you do them, the more social proof you will have in your past, so that future you can look back proudly and say, huh, I did that. So you know what? I can face this challenge right now too. Psychologists like to call this the self-perception theory, and just put very simply, it means that we observe our own behavior and we're able to draw conclusions about our beliefs and our capabilities from it. It's kind of like backwards from how we think it works sometimes. Just think about it. If you start running 3 times a week, even when you don't feel like it, you will start thinking of yourself as someone who runs. The identity, in a sense, follows the behavior, and it's much easier to think of someone who runs participating in a half marathon, right? It wouldn't be so easy to conceive this idea if you're not running at all. Another really interesting concept is called the consistency principle, and it basically means that once we make a small commitment and we see ourselves following through with it, we are much more likely to make bigger commitments. That is why those free trials work so well, because once you have committed to it for a certain period of time, you're more likely to pay for it when the free trial ends. Let me give you a real example from my own life. When I first started learning English, I did not believe that I could get it to the level of fluency that I have today. They teach English at our Brazilian schools, but honestly, I would just be doing the homework 5 minutes before the classes started. When I first went to the US and realized that my nearly 5 years of English studies could be summarized in, the book is on the table, and hello, my name is INGRA, that hit me hard. I started thinking to myself, maybe I'm not good at languages, maybe I'm just dumb. Oh, this is impossible. I don't believe I can do it. But one thing in that trip really rubbed me the wrong way, which was the fact that because I had such restricted vocabulary, I had my cousins speaking for myself in every occasion, and that hindered me from meeting new people and creating real and special connections. So coming back to Brazil, I didn't feel particularly more inspired nor confident in my abilities to learn a new language. I was rather bothered, and that prompted me to take action. So although I didn't believe that I could actually become fluent, I focused on just getting a little better, one day at a time, and learning more than what I knew at the time. My small actionable steps for starters were very simple and kind of like fail-proof. I was just sitting down 10 to 15 minutes every day and studying a little bit of grammar. Once I was able to get that down and it felt like a habit, then I moved on to reading a few really simple books in English, like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, while I was listening to the audiobook and studying the pronunciation and writing down whatever new word I learned and its meaning in Portuguese, for example. My point is, I committed to it and I followed through. The progress was very slow at first, but I kept showing up. And most importantly, I've built evidence that I can stick with something challenging. And because of that, I believe in myself a little more. So here's what I learned, and I want you to know. If you can't yet believe, you can still choose to commit. You know, it's because believing sometimes is just like feeling inspired. They're both like that flaky friend of yours that gets super excited about plans and then cancels last minute. Commitment, on the other hand, shows up, rain or shine. So what can you do today to start building more confidence in yourself and in your power to actually accomplish your dreams? Here's my personal list. My number one thing is make ridiculously small commitments. If you're a very ambitious person like me, when setting daily goals, it might be that when you're feeling inspired and when you're feeling that boost of productivity and you're trying to implement new habits, you go all in. I'm gonna go and hit the gym 5 times a week. I'm gonna drink 3 liters of water a day. And then 3-4 days pass by and the commitment wavers. I'm watching you, sister. And then you're just left disappointed in yourself and wondering if you're ever gonna be the person that actually keeps the promises that they make to themselves. So my suggestion here to start building that confidence is to set yourself up for success with fail-proof small wins. I'm talking tiny, the type of commitments that are basically impossible to break. If you want to write a book, then you commit to maybe just writing 1 or 2 sentences a day. If you want to become a person who runs, maybe you commit to just running for 5 minutes. Or if you want to be a person that is more fit, then maybe you can commit to just putting on the workout clothes. Well, take me for example. Instead of focusing on building a successful YouTube channel, overwhelming, I am focusing on just putting out 2 valuable videos per month. Doable. And by the way, the point in all of this isn't the single action, it's actually building the identity of someone that shows up. So my second tip is track your commitments visibly and make it data-based. So for as long as I can remember, I've always loved physical planners and just marking that X on that sheet of paper whenever I got something done. But recently I found that actually keeping data on my accomplishments gives me more fact-based evidence of what I am able of accomplishing. And that is great for boosting belief in yourself. Because the numbers, they don't lie. I recently downloaded this really cute app called Finch, where you get to grow this very cute penguin pet. And the more you complete your daily habits and your goals, the more it grows, basically. The thing that I really like about the app is that it basically gives you a report, right, based on percentages and of how much you have achieved over the course of a week, month, even a year. And you don't need the app necessarily. You can easily do that on Notion or on a spreadsheet. I think that my point here is that there's something incredibly powerful and satisfying about seeing your percentage of daily achievements increasing slowly over time. Number 3 is create accountability, preferably with someone that will give you tough love. Look, I'm a firm believer of not telling the world about our dearest dreams, desires, wishes. However, I have found that there's great power in telling a person that we love, trust, and we know roots for us what our next big step is, so that this person helps ensure that we stay on track and gives us a tough love pep talk whenever we are not believing or we are putting ourselves down. Isn't it fascinating how sometimes we have people in our lives that seem to believe in us even more than we believe in ourselves at times? We can take advantage of that, and that is the kind of people that might be worth sharing a dream with. Their confidence and belief in you might help boost your own, and at the very least, create accountability. When I decided to start this YouTube channel, for example, I told my husband about it before I could talk myself out of it. And basically his confidence in me and his expectations became fuel when my own belief wavered. And last but not least, my final tip is to celebrate small wins properly and stop thinking about them as if it were just luck or coincidence. Have you noticed how quick we are to dismiss our achievements and just focus on whatever's next? We should stop and take time to celebrate these achievements, no matter how big or small. And when you start getting things done and finally seeing results and you get a few achievements, if you're one of those people that call it luck or coincidence, I strongly suggest that you stop that nonsense. Good old imposter syndrome just knocks on the door, and so many of us just open it so willingly. Remember that you and only you are responsible for everything that happens in your life, including all the victories that you accumulate and get to enjoy. So take ownership of that. So here's what I wanted you to take away from our conversation. You don't need to believe in yourself in order to get started. So if you have been waiting around for some kind of supernatural inspiration and belief to descend upon you from the skies, to snap out of it, you just need to commit to small, consistent actions. The belief will naturally follow as evidence builds. And just before you leave, think about one thing that you have been putting off because you don't feel ready or you don't feel capable or you just don't believe. Now, what's one tiny action that you can take towards it today? Not tomorrow, not when you feel motivated, today. Remember, commitment first, confidence second. That's totally fine. Alright, so I'm on this journey with you and I would love to hear about your own experience. If you have been able to identify the tiny actionable step that you're gonna be taking today, make sure that you drop a comment down below. I would love to read it. If today's video resonated with you, make sure that you click that like and subscribe button. I will be sharing my growth journey here regularly and I would love for you to join me. Alright, I guess I'll see you when I see you.